Hey, how's it going everybody? NGS back again for another video. Now, in my last appearance, I unboxed a brand new product that I've been playing around with for the latter part of the weekend. And that product is the latest and greatest handy dandy console, handheld, hybrid thingy-mabobber from Nintendo. We have got some impressions on the Switch. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this purchase, I know, turned a lot of heads. I saw the comment section first and foremost, and it was something that I didn't really make the decision to buy until that very morning. Why did I buy a Nintendo Switch? How in the world is one of the most critical people on the YouTube scene? I think the only person who has talked more crap about Nintendo than me is the mayor of hate himself, Black Bond. How in the world am I going to do an impressions video on the Switch? Well, the reason why I purchased the Nintendo Switch, if you guys haven't seen the video, is let's just say Best Buy credit is a hell of an incentive. And when you have a lot of Best Buy credits stacked up and you are thinking about getting something shiny for yourself, Nintendo Switch was one of the best options out there. I mean, it was either between this or Xbox One X, and realistically, I ain't paying $500 to play Minecraft in 4K. I'm just being real. I'd much rather play Minecraft on the go. Shameless, corny advertising. Great. But yeah, the incentive to buy the Switch was rooted in the fact that not only could I get it for a somewhat cheaper price, but over the past couple of weeks, I've had sort of I don't want to say revelation, that sounds very corny, but I've sort of had to shift my way of thinking about Nintendo and their current trajectory when it comes to supporting their devices. Now, for the latter part of 5 years, I've always judged Nintendo on a scale with comparison to both Microsoft and Sony. And by that, I meant whatever Microsoft and Sony was doing to innovate the console scene, updating features, becoming better and better pieces of hardware, Nintendo always just seemed to be in the background, trying to do their own weird, stupid thing like Miiverse or Amiibos and, shit that, to be honest, I didn't think was really productive for gaming. And we saw what happened with that. Miiverse is being shut down, all these crazy Amiibo shortages, people buying more Amiibos than video games. Like, I didn't really feel that was what gaming needed. We didn't need that sort of stuff. But with the Nintendo Switch, I sort of noticed a change. And I don't want to say their overall trajectory for the system, because I still have my grievances about it. But it was in a more healthier place, if that makes sense grammatically, than both the Wii and the Wii U was. I noticed that comparing some of the stuff with the Switch and how it launched with the Wii U, there's no way in the world I can see it being another Wii U. For the simple fact that in the first year alone, this system actually has support. And we're going to touch on that stuff later. But I do want to point out the facts because I know some people still get ass hurt about this with the Wii U. But yeah, maybe next time y'all shouldn't give into hype when it comes to Nintendo products. I mean, the fact that the PS3 and 360 outlived the Wii U. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in there. It's just so funny. Like, I try to tell y'all people, but you don't listen. Anyways, with the Nintendo Switch, I had to look at this more not as the next console successor for Nintendo, but as being the next successor for a platform that I hold very near and dear to my heart, that being the PlayStation Vita. Why don't I say the successor to the 3DS? The reason why is because the PlayStation Vita was, more or less, a portable PlayStation. I know that's what the PlayStation Portable was built at. That was the PSP, right? I honestly don't want to agree with that. I think that the Vita was the closest thing you got to that because you could actually get console quality experiences on the go. You got games like Uncharted, you got games like Killzone, games that honestly felt really similar to their console counterparts, but at the same time they felt like they fit right at home with a handheld. It was a unique experience that, to be honest, due to the incompetence of Sony when it comes to marketing, advertising, and pricing the storage for the system, they kind of left it out there to die. Had the system been in better hands, maybe from another manufacturer, I think it would have done a lot better. Because at its core, the PlayStation Vita was a pretty damn good piece of tech. I know a lot of people say it, but it's true. Like, out the gate, it launched with a lot of current features that were available on most smartphones. But realistically, the Vita is 6 years old. It is on its way out the door. Yes, it's still going to get some support from Japan and indie studios, but long term, what was going to be the next logical successor to that machine? That was the Nintendo Switch. And not because it's the only handheld in the sphere, it's because it still retains that console quality games on the go. Even more amplified with the fact that this actually connects to your TV and you can play those experiences with multiple controller layouts. So if you are a PlayStation Vita owner and you are just like hoping for the next best thing, Nintendo Switch might be your best bet. But enough of that. Let's talk about some of my impressions, like 6 minutes into the video. So it's so funny because I've been living the commercial Nintendo Switch experience. I haven't been playing this at home connected to the TV. I've actually been playing this on my lunch break at work. I've been playing, of course, the only real game that was available for the Switch until Mario, that being Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I gotta say, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got goosebumps being able to play a console quality game on the go. Something on the scale of Zelda that wasn't dumbed down for a handheld. I felt some type of way. I'm gonna be real, just looking at it and how beautiful it is, I was like, damn, is this life? Is this life? I had a commercial Nintendo Switch experience. Like, goddamn. But, yeah, all of my experiences was playing it portably, so I can be able to speak about all of the main things that you're going to get out of the system. Because to be honest, when I look at the Switch, I don't look at this as a console. I really don't, because as a console... Whoa, that's very trippy. Because as a console, this thing falls extremely short in comparison to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and even most gaming laptops. Playing this on the TV, to me, it was my least enjoyable aspect of the Switch, if only because of the fact that the games don't look as good. Now, you can chalk that up to the fact that this is basically just a tablet outputting to a 1080p or 4K or whatever type of TV you have. But everything looks so much better in the handheld mode, probably because of the screen size. When you blow it up to a screen that big, I can only imagine something like Doom, which runs at an unstable resolution. Blowing that up onto the TV is not going to look very pretty. But on this, it's actually halfway decent. So, in terms of aesthetics, I like the aesthetics of the system. Everything feels really nice. The buttons don't feel weak. I was kind of worried about the Joy-Cons and how they feel really fragile, but no, they do feel competently built. My biggest complaint with the design of the Switch would have to be this kickstand right here. This does not seem very safe whatsoever. I would have much preferred it if they had two of them, just for more stability, or if this was just made out of better material, because I can see long term, after doing this for hundreds of times, I'm probably going to break it right now, this is going to go through a lot of wear and tear. But other than that, the device itself, it's fine. You know, being able to take out the Joy-Cons, put them back in, it feels great, whichever play style you're playing with. So as far as aesthetics, the system feels really good. I know some people will complain about the bezels of the machine being pretty damn big. It did kind of get annoying at first, but it's something you do get used to after a while. And once you get into the interface of the Nintendo Switch, sorry for the glare, but you guys who are watching this probably know what the interface looks like. Oh, look at that, a very barren interface. Yeah, it's nice, it's sleek. It reminds me of most modern Android phones. Everything is really where it's supposed to be in terms of design. Like when you go into the settings menu, it looks straight out of Android. You have everything, like even some of the quick toggles, like holding the home menu lets you adjust the brightness, the sound, airplane mode. It's so modern. It's something that you didn't get with the 3DS and the Wii U, which even on launch, the Wii U seemed like one of the most dated pieces of tech of all time. Like just how convoluted things were. The Switch isn't really like that. You get everything you need to out of it. Like, even holding the ZL and ZR buttons shows you the battery percentage, right? It's a modern system, so in that respect, Nintendo has finally learned, you know? Minimalistic designs are great. You don't need to go out of your way to do something different for the sake of being different. So this is nice. I do like the aesthetics behind the design of the system and the actual interface. Unfortunately, one of my biggest concerns with the Switch from day one, from when it first got announced, has not yet been addressed, and that is the features on this thing. This thing is lacking so many features. My Android phone from 2011, my fucking Samsung Infuse, that has more features than Nintendo Switch? Where is the Bluetooth support? Why can't we message friends? Where is the party chat? Where are all these basic fundamental things that not only have existed on consoles, but on your competitors? Like the PlayStation Vita had those systems on launch. You could form parties. You have Bluetooth support. You can send messages. You can view your trophies. Where's the achievement system? Now, I know what you guys are saying. Oh, well, these are just features. They can update them at some point. Have you seen the leaks? They're thinking about doing achievements. Guys, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a system that launched in 2017 that you're supposed to take with you on the go. Lacks these basic fundamental features. Bluetooth is a necessity. Being able to message your friends, inviting them to parties. Those are necessities. This is so bare bones. And yes, this matters. Don't say that it's all about the video games and nothing else. What about the other things that come with playing those video games? What about playing with your friends easily and creating an overall great experience, a great community? Like, you're telling me that I have to use third-party applications like Discord or talk to my friends on the phone, on WhatsApp, or on Google Hangouts just so we can coordinate to play some damn Mario Kart? Like, why can't everything be built in from the jump? I mean, that's just me. This stuff should be here. I know y'all are going to say it's going to come eventually, but what happened with the Wii U? Like, don't sit here and say it'll come eventually, it'll come eventually. You guys have kind of run out of your credit when it comes to that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? I'll believe it when I see it, but as it stands right now, I can't give the Switch a pass as far as being a competent handheld device. And yes, handheld device means in comparison to the Switch, to the iPad, to the iPhone, to the Samsung Notes, to whatever. I can't give it a pass on that front. Now, as far as some of the things that I do like in terms of gaming, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is actually a really, really great game that shows off what you can do with the Switch. Like, the processing power in this, being able to generate such a huge open world. Granted, it's a dead open world, but it's a very alive dead open world. Something you really haven't seen in many other games outside of The Witcher 3. So in that respect, I'm really enjoying Breath of the Wild outside of its inconveniences like stamina and it being a little bit too realistic for my liking. I mean, we're not going to get into this right now. I'll do a full impressions once I get farther into the game. In terms of other things, like the eShop, it's actually fully functioning. You have a list of games that are available, games that are hot ticket items, and it's not as clunky and just really, like with the 3DS. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was just such a pain to navigate through it. As it stands right now, it's more appealing to the eye. I mean, it's not where it should be, but again, storefronts are always things that get updated and made with improvements over time. You can guarantee that if they want you to spend money on it, they are going to fix it. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's just, as it stands, features aside, it's a very well-built system. I mean, you gotta stop thinking of this as being the competitor to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, because the more and more I did that, the more pissed off I got with the Switch, because it is so lacking in so many respects. But when I accepted this as the successor to the PlayStation Vita, I found a new appreciation for it and something I think I can roll with long term. Now, there are a couple of things that I wish that I would have waited till I bought the Switch. Like, the battery life on this thing is not great. It's like 3 to 4 hours. I know you can adjust some things like airplane mode and brightness so you can have more playtime on the go. But it's still something I do have to mention to some people because traveling is going to be a big concern. But thankfully, you can use the USB Type-C cable. You can bring a power bank with you and you could charge it that way. So it's not the biggest inconvenience in the world, especially if you're going on trips. You can still get some good juice out of this. So that's not the biggest gripe in the world. I thought it would be a major, major issue. But if you're really going someplace where you are going to be without a battery source for more than 3 hours, in most cases you are going to bring an external power source. Like, I don't leave the house without my freaking Android charger because I know with the way the batteries on these phones are, something is going to come up. So the same thing is going to happen with the Nintendo Switch. If I'm, traveling out of state, which I do often, going on trips down south, to other places, I'm going to California in December. I will make sure to bring myself the power bank. It's something I was going to bring already for my phone and my tablet, so the fact that I can charge the Switch with it is even better. But yeah, just looking at the software lineup, actually I'm going to save that for another video that I'm doing with a very special guest coming here soon. Nintendo Switch first impressions, very competently made device in terms of aesthetics. I'm still waiting for the features on the system. The games itself, granted, a lot of them are ports and available at other systems for cheaper prices, but I still like the fact that you aren't left out there to die like with other systems, the Wii U. Again, that's like the comparison that I'm going to keep bringing up time in and time out, because it's just so... It's so different. Like the games you had year one in Wii U compared to the Switch 8 months in, it's just no competition. Even if you take out the ports like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, Pokken Tournament, it still has more support going for it than the Switch ever did. And that's saying something. You know, when you set the bar so low, you know, it's only upwards from here. Anyways, you guys, from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. And like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.